Welcome to Align Christ-Centered Yoga. My name is Linda and I'll be guiding our practice today. My question for you today is, how comfortable are you with the hard work of transformation? Paul reminds us of this in his letter to the Corinthians. If anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. Behold, the old has passed away, the new has come. I'm a gardener, and this is a banner year for cucumbers. So as I'm picking 6 to 10 off every day, I decided to make pickles. So I've made my bread and butter pickles here, and I was thinking about all the things involved in changing that cucumber into a pickle. I had to chop it up, cut out the bad spots. I had to leave it in salt, and we know how that feels on wounds, for 4 hours. Then I had to add it to boiling sugar and vinegar water. Finally, I canned it, boiled it again in a jar so that it will last for years, and pickles. Something that doesn't resemble at all what it started out as. And this year I had another aha. This is an overgrown cucumber. As you can see, it is huge. I didn't pick it in time. It was on the vine. It continued to grow. But if I cut it open now, it is woody. There's not very much liquid in it anymore. It doesn't have very much flavor. The seeds are not viable anymore. It stayed on the vine too long. I think often that I hold on to the things of this world, cling to them even, for too long. And I may grow in that position, but I'm not transforming into what it is that Jesus wants me to be. So today, I invite you into this practice of transformation. We're going to work towards a side plank with a leg lift, which may be inaccessible to you. It's not always accessible to me, but we're going to work step by step, reminding ourselves once again that transformation is hard work. It's about the journey. And if we trust in Jesus, he will guide us each step of the way as we are ready. We're going to start lying down today, so go get a blanket, roll it up so that it is comfortable for you as you lie down on it, providing support for your lower back. And also, if you have one, a strap or something that you can use as a strap. And as always, I always have blocks or something that I can support my arms with as well. So here on the blanket, go ahead, or on the mat, sit on the mat itself. So I am not on the blanket as I sit. And then lie down with your back fully supported on the mat. I invite you to consider taking your arms into cactus, those elbows just a little bit below the shoulders. And just notice how that feels. And notice the effects of that on the rib cage. And if, like me, you begin to overarch the back, can you bring that rib cage down into the blanket? Notice how the lower back feels today and decide, do you want to stay here with knees bent? Or is it better for you to extend the legs long? Closing your eyes, begin to find breath. Inhaling deeply into the lungs, the rib cage, all the way down to the pelvic floor. And exhale up the body. And as you exhale, maybe draw the body down into that blanket a little bit more. As you inhale, really open up in the lungs. Find that stretch, shoulder to shoulder, reaching all the way across. With the exhale, find strength, lifting the pelvic floor, drawing the belly into the spine and up, drawing the rib cage back. Take one more breath here. Find your strap. Go ahead and strap your right foot. So as you strap it, you're going to bring that strap across, and actually let's come off the blanket here. So roll over to the side slightly. Move that blanket off the mat. So we are not on the blanket anymore. Back is going to be flat to the mat. As you strap your foot, strap the ball of the foot. As you straighten out the leg, find the bend that's right for you. Tension but no struggle in the hamstring muscle and the lower back. And maybe this other leg, this left leg, stays bent, or maybe, I'm going to scoot up on my mat a little bit here, maybe that other leg extends long. So from here, check in, noticing, this hamstring stretch, and find your breath. And begin to circle the foot. So just think about this femur bone, this long bone of the thigh, just kind of stirring like a mortar and pestle in that hip socket. And as you're ready, reverse the circle. What do you notice? Bring the strap into the same hand as leg. Bring that other arm out to the side for balance. And bring the leg across the midline of the body. So as you do this, can you activate the muscles of the other leg? So if the knee is bent, you're pushing down into the floor with the foot. If the leg is extended, push that heel to the other edge of the mat, like away from the body. And tighten up the quadricep and draw the knee towards the hip. As you're ready, switch the strap to the other hand. Begin to bring this leg out to the side. So as you bring it out to the side, can you anchor in through this hip? So the left hip stays on the mat. And the leg that you're stretching is activated. So again, it's not just flopped all the way down to the floor. There's a little bit of tension in the inner thigh. Again, you're kind of drawing the knee towards the hip as that heel presses away. Drawing the belly in, come to center. Go ahead and bend the knee. Bring that leg up into the hamstring stretch. Again, just kind of notice what you notice. And then hold on to this leg. So instead of using the strap, use your hand, maybe holding on at the thigh or the shin or the big toe. Take this left hand to the hip and just draw the hip flat down towards the mat. So notice here, kind of anatomically, how much is the leg bent? How straight are the arms? Is this accessible for you holding your feet? Is it better for you just to hold on to the thigh or the shin? And then as you're ready, draw the belly in, come back to center. Bring the knee in, give yourself a hug as you tuck your chin and draw the nose into the knee. One more time, hamstring stretch, heel rises to sky. Hands to the side, gently bring down. So we're going to stay here for a couple of breaths. Checking in. What do you notice with your feet, right foot and left foot? About the way that the legs are rotated or connected to the mat? The way that the hips have settled? Where does the curve of the lower back begin and end on each side? Where is the middle of the back connected to the mat? How have you settled on the shoulder blades? Notice even the neck and the head. So we're going to repeat that sequence on the other side. So you're going to strap your left foot now. Again, remembering to strap the ball of the foot rather than the arch. And let the heel rise up to the sky. Decide what kind of bend is best for you in that leg. And begin to gently circle that foot. So you're just moving that entire leg in a circle, kind of drawing a circle on the ceiling. And then reverse direction and notice what you notice. As you're ready, settle. Holding onto the strap with the same arm as leg, bringing that other arm out to counterbalance. Bring the leg across the midline of the body. Finding the stretch, perhaps, in the IT band, working from the hip to the knee, that tight place in the outer thigh where that iliotibial band kind of just winds up and gets tight. Drawing the belly in, bring the leg back up, switch hands so that now the opposite hand is holding onto the strap and keeping it over towards the shoulder. And let that leg come down to the side to wherever it's going to go for you. Again, just really activating the muscles of the inner thigh so the leg hasn't just collapsed in your way. Move your body and let that leg go to wherever it needs to go. As you're ready, exhaling, you're going to draw this leg back up again. Find your hamstring stretch. Remove the strap. Put it off to the side. We won't need it again. Hold on to that leg. Maybe start at the thigh. And let the leg come out to the side while you're holding on. And maybe you grab the toe or the foot, maybe not. So throughout this practice, where are you in this particular transformation process? Honoring that, listening to your body. Exhaling, gently bring that leg back up. Bend the knee, draw knee in towards your chin if you choose to. Tuck your chin and draw nose to knee. Release, coming down. Foot rises back up towards the sky. Hands down to the side. Slowly bring that leg down to the mat. Find breath. Notice how the body has settled. What do you notice on this side? As you're ready, gently bend your knees, bring the feet in. Come into happy baby, bringing those knees towards the shoulders. Find a neutral position of the spine. So there's a natural arch to the spine, rib cage drawn down, belly towards the spine. And then decide, where are you holding on to your legs here? Behind the thigh, around the shin, at the feet, maybe on the outside of the feet. Can the shoulders and the hips stay on the mat wherever you are? And if you need to adjust where you're holding on, then adjust. Gently rock side to side, massaging out the back. What sensations are you feeling? Hands behind the leg, bring the knees towards center. They're still a little bit further wider than hip width apart. Roll up to sitting and roll back. Massage out that back. 2 more times here. 1 more time. And come up to a sitting position. So from this sitting position, let those knees come out wide. Find your sitting bones. Press into that right hand. Bring that left arm over. And as you settle here, begin to draw in at the internal obliques. So can you engage these muscles of the waist and then use those muscles to bring you up and over to the other side? Come back and forth here 2 more times each. And maybe the gaze looks opposite the arms, or maybe the gaze follows the arm and looks over the shoulder. What's best for you? Can you connect movement with breath? Inhaling as you go up and over. Exhaling as you come down. 1 more time. Right arm comes over. Overreach it. Settle in. Find your stretch. Maybe the shoulder can relax and come down the back a little bit more. Taking a deep breath in, come up and over, go the other direction. Anchor into the sitting bones. And, maybe instead of collapsing like I was doing, you can lift up a little bit and really anchor it from these internal obliques. Come back up and over and meet me in table. So from table, you're on your hands and your knees, and those feet are hip width apart. Wrists are directly underneath the shoulders. Find cat and cow here. And as you move through cat and cow a few times, I invite you to really intentionally use the abdominals today. So you're going to draw the belly in and up, rounding the shoulders, letting the shoulders draw towards the hips, even here in cat. And then bring the chest through the arms, open up in cow. One more time here, cat to cow. And release, meeting me in table. Draw hips back to heels. Come back up. Find table one more time, child to table. And as you're ready, come into child. So in child, check in for a moment, finding breath. And consider the muscles that we use to find these side planks. So it's the internal obliques, so the rectus abdominis coming up with the front of the body. It is also the shoulders, right? There's a lot of weight on the shoulders. So to open those up from child, can you bring your palms together and up? And if that's really not accessible to you, maybe you just reach your hands towards the base of your neck. If your hands are together here, press the fingertips together, move the wrist towards the outside edge of the mat. So from here, you're going to begin to find the work across the upper back and the back of the shoulders. Let the palms come together again, deep breath in. Exhale, come to the fingertips, bring those wrists wide. Stay here for 2 more breaths. Can those shoulders reach a little closer towards the hips? Can the shoulder blades get a little wider? Exhaling, bring those hands down, meet me in table, and curl the toes under, bringing knees up into the rib cage. Stretch the fingers forward, create a little bubble in the palm of your hand, and draw the shoulders back towards where the hips are rising. Begin to pedal through your feet. Move your hips side to side, check in here, and feet are hip width apart. Nice deep breath in, heels rise. Exhaling, heels come back towards the edge of the mat. Find length here. And as you draw the shoulders back, can you find that connection from wrist to shoulder and from shoulder to hip? On the next inhale, raise that right leg up to the sky. Drawing the gaze forward, bring the foot in between the hands. Gently drop that back knee down and up a few times. So we're just tapping into that back knee, opening up the psoas, that muscle of the hip that crosses from thigh up to the hip bone. And then gently drop the back knee, top of the foot to the mat. And coming up to your fingertips, you begin to draw this back hip, this left hip, a little bit forward to find your stretch. Bring hands to the inside of the feet, finding lizard, toe heel on your way out. Let the toes come off the mat, heels onto the mat. And begin to drop into this stretch, and yet keep it activated. Maybe it's best for you to keep this foot flat on the mat. Maybe you want a little more stretch and you roll to the outside. We're going to stay here today, so 3 breaths here. And with each breath, can you find a little more release somewhere in the body? With each breath, can you find a little more strength somewhere in the body? As you're ready, gently come back to center and toe heel your way back to center. Hands to either side of the foot, raise the back leg, bring the front foot to the back, meet me in plank. Find the strongest mountain pose you can find in this plank. So the heels are pressing towards that wall behind you. Top of the head is reaching forward. The elbows are turned in towards each other as the shoulders draw back towards the hips. From here, exhale, come down to your knees, child to table twice. Meet me in downward facing dog. Check in, noticing the effects of that on the body. And on the next inhale, it's the left leg that rises high. Gently draw the gaze to in between the thumbs, engaging the abdominals. Float that foot forward. Bring that back knee down and up. And this is a place where it's sometimes helpful to have those blocks on either side of your foot. And then as you're ready, this back knee comes down to the mat. You begin to draw the back hip forward and up slightly. Maybe drawing the front hip crease back a little bit. Hands come to the inside of that front foot. You're going to toe heel this front foot out. Find your lizard pose. So wrists directly underneath the shoulders. Maybe the foot stays flat to the mat and floor. Maybe you roll that knee out to the side. Where do you feel the most tension here? Can you begin to lengthen and release those muscles with breath? As you're ready, gently bring the foot back to center and toe heel back to the center of the mat. Curling the toes under, raise that back leg, float that back foot up to meet the front. Meet me in forward fold. Hands to shins, rise up halfway. Exhaling, come down. Pressing in through the feet, come all the way up to mountain. Hands to heart. Stay here in mountain for 2 breaths. On that next inhale, step into the right foot, take that left leg back behind you. Find your lunge. Let the arms rise up as you find a strong lunge. So still looking for this stretch in the front of the body in the hip. Raise that back leg up a little bit more towards the sky. Maybe sink into this front hip a little more. And then can you just micro bend that back knee to find your stretch? And then do that core check. Are you engaging the muscles of the abdominals, pulling down with that rib cage, shoulders sinking towards the hips? Right hand comes to the small of the back. As much length in the spine as possible. Start at the base of the spine and find your twist as you come across. Stay here and breathe. And as you're ready, release either side of the foot. Bring the back foot forward. Find your forward fold. Hands to shins, rise up halfway. Exhaling, come down. Shake your head out, no and yes. Begin to release any tension you're holding onto in the neck. And rise to mountain. Hands to heart in mountain. Step into the left foot and begin to find tree pose. So maybe hands are in prayer. Maybe you find more balance if those arms are wide. Maybe that foot is anchored below the knee as the knee presses towards that wall behind you. Maybe that foot comes up above the knee. Wherever you are, maybe the arms rise. Find the strongest tree pose you can find. The foot heavy on the floor, rooted down, the body rising up out of the hips. And then as you're ready, hands to heart, bring that foot down. Shake everything out. Stepping into the left foot, bring that right leg back to lunge. And find your lunge here. So again, hips and shoulders facing forward. Legs hip-width apart. Back thigh starts to reach towards the sky as the front hip sinks. Maybe there's a micro bend in that back leg, permitting a deeper stretch of the psoas. Find your breath. The next inhale, arms rise up, find balance and as much length as you can find in the spine. Left hand comes to the small of the back and find your twist as you come around. Engaging through the abdominals. Make the twist what you need for your back, for your neck. Exhaling, hands to either side of the foot. Float the back foot up to meet the front. Forward fold. Hands to shins, rise up halfway. Exhaling, come down. And pushing through the feet. Find that strong mountain pose. Hands to heart. Step into the right foot and find your tree pose from here. So again, maybe that foot comes just below the knee and this is your tree pose. Maybe the foot comes a little higher. Wherever you are, can you lift the body up and out of the hips? Strength in the rectus abdominis, in the internal obliques, in the muscles of the back. Maybe bring the wrist to the side. So instead of in prayer, begin to just bring those wrists out, fingers, and then come back into prayer, pressing into the hands, keeping the engagement of the upper back. As you're ready, release, shake it out. So as we're going here, you're assessing, how is your balance today? How does your strength feel? Nice deep breath in, arms rise, exhaling, forward fold. And all those things you notice will play into the decisions as you move through the practice. Hands to shins, come up halfway. Exhale down, one leg back and then the other. Meet me in plank. From plank, come all the way down to the mat and meet me in a forearm plank. So from this forearm plank, again, really finding the strength of that tree pose, the heels pressing back, the head reaching forward. But now also really engaging the muscles of the shoulders and the back. As you're ready, knees down. Come back into child, child to table twice. So child's pose, inhaling up into table. And one more time. Curling the toes under, meet me in downward facing dog. Check in for a breath. Right leg rises up. Gaze comes forward, foot comes through. Meet me in lunge. From lunge, find either a high or a low twist. So you choose, maybe hinging at the hips and coming across, stacking elbows. Or maybe you're still in a high twist. Right now, really work on opening up the shoulders. So can you stack those shoulders? As you stack the shoulders, can you find the engagement of the abdominals? One more breath here. Exhaling, release. Bring the back foot up to meet the front. Forward fold. Hands to shins, rise up halfway. Exhaling, come down, pressing through the feet, rise all the way up. Hands to heart, stay in mountain pose and check in there. Maybe your eyes are closed for 2 breaths. As you're ready, we're going to find tree pose again, but we're going to take it somewhere different. So start with tree. Maybe that foot is low. Maybe it is up higher. And then bring the hand underneath the thigh. Raise the knee towards your shoulder. And you can either extend your leg from here, or that hand can come down to the foot and you can extend from here. So this is side plank, only we're standing with your leg raised, right? So push through the foot, raise the head, feel the engagement of the internal obliques, and release. So assess, notice how that felt standing. It's going to be harder from that side plank. Nice deep breath in, palms come up. Exhale, forward fold. Shake your head out, no and yes. Hands to shins, come up halfway. Exhale down, one leg back. Find your plank. And from plank, meet me in downward facing dog. So here, from downward facing dog, can you come into puppy dog and just bring those elbows down? So elbows are underneath the shoulders. Again, really thinking about the strength in the shoulders. What happens is you draw those shoulders back towards the hips. Engage through the abdominal muscles. Feel as if you could just go right up into a forearm shoulder stand. And then press those heels a little closer to the mat. Come back up into downward facing dog, arms are extended. Raise that left leg up to the sky, gaze comes forward, foot comes all the way through. Rise up and meet me in lunge. And from lunge, find your twist. Inhaling, lengthen to the spine. Exhaling into that twist. Find breath. One more breath here. Hands to either side of the foot. Float the back foot up to meet the front. Draw the head down. Shake it out, no and yes. Hands to shins. Rise up halfway. Exhaling, come down. Pressing through the feet. Come all the way up. Hands to heart. Check in for 2 breaths. Stepping into that right foot. Now we're going to find this leg extension on the other side, or you're just going to stay in tree, right? So whichever, again, each step of the way, assessing, evaluating. One more breath. Maybe the arm comes under the leg. How steady are you? Maybe that leg extends. Maybe you can hold on to that leg. And again, think anatomically here. I have long arms, short legs. It makes it a lot easier to do this. Exhale, release, shake it all out. Nice deep breath in, arms come all the way up. Exhaling, forward fold. Shake your head out, no and yes. Hands to shins, come up halfway. Exhale down, one leg back, and then the other. Meet me in plank. Strongest plank you can find. Engage all of those muscles down to the mat. So turn to the side facing me. Take this front elbow directly underneath the shoulder and come up into a forearm side plank. And just check in here. And maybe this is your side plank today. Another option is to bend those knees. Okay? Maybe you're feeling stronger. Those fingers reach for the front of the mat, and you can come up into a straight arm side plank. So from here or on your forearm, can you slide that top leg up, bring it in, maybe connect to the foot, and maybe extend. And as you're ready, come back down to the mat. Sit, one leg crossed over the other, find a twist. So you're going to take what was the top leg, it's crossed over the other one. Opposite arm is going to wrap around the shin. Find your twist from here as you begin to drop your shoulder blades down the back. And find what's best for your neck, maybe looking over that back shoulder. And then come to center. Go ahead and just cross this leg in front of you. Bring that arm that was just working. Bring it all the way across in a tricep stretch. And then bring the hand up and over the shoulder. Draw the shoulders down, giving yourself a hug, and maybe looking in the opposite direction. Just stay here for another breath. Let the body slow down. Hands to legs. Closing your eyes, notice what you notice. Let's try this on the other side. So don't make any assumptions. Start with the forearm plank. One day, one practice can be very different from another. Check in. How does the shoulder feel? If it is at all wobbly or feels a little weak, you don't need to push into that straight arm plank. Right? But maybe for you that's okay today, and we'll see. This is my weak shoulder. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Right? And maybe this is where you stay, or from your forearm or on your other arm. Maybe you can find that balance and you can extend that leg. So again, what's best for you today, right now, and exhale and release. Come up to sitting. Let go of any sense of failure or wishing that you could. Let go of all of that. Come into your twist as that arm that you just worked is going to come across mid-shin. Let the shoulder blades drop. And instead, embrace all that your body has done for you in this practice. This has been a challenging practice for most of us. As you're ready, come back to center. Just cross that leg comfortably in front of you. Again, this arm that you just worked. Bring it across. The elbow is lower than the shoulder. You start to release those muscles in the shoulder. Bring the hand up. Give yourself a hug. Maybe turn and look towards what was the working shoulder. As you're ready, release and come to sitting. So closing your eyes. Notice what you notice. Maybe it's the way the body feels, or maybe it's attitude or emotion. Maybe it's the beating of your heart or the temperature of the room. Take 2 more breaths here. As you're ready, come down onto your back. So if you want to use that blanket to support underneath your knees, to put over you to keep you warm, you have it today. Or maybe you go back to where you were at the beginning of your practice with that rolled up blanket underneath you. Find your Shavasana. And in these final moments, just think about what vines of this world you are clinging to too tightly. And let them go. Trusting the hand of the master gardener to mold you and shape you into whatever it is you need to be for the purpose that he has already put in place for you. As you're ready, gently come back to this time and this place, eyes still closed, reconnecting with breath. Begin to gently bring movement back, wiggling fingers and toes, rotating wrists and ankles, turning your head side to side. Taking a deep breath in, raise those arms up and overhead and reach fingertips towards one wall, toes to the other, and stretch. Bending your knees, gently roll over onto your side, supporting your head with your arm. Give yourself a couple of breaths for your blood pressure to rise back up to normal. And gently press into your hands. Come up to sitting, crossing those legs in front of you once again. Bringing the arms forward, resting on the legs, finding the sitting bones, and checking in. Remember where you were when you came to the mat today. What has changed? What has stayed the same? Taking a deep breath in, arms rise up and overhead, palms together, and exhaling, bring hands to heart, bowing your head. Holy God, you alone are all-knowing. You alone are all-seeing. So we invite you to cut us off from those vines that choke us, that cause us to grow in unhealthy ways. Those vines that bring us to rot. We invite you to transform us, whatever that looks like. We open our lives to you, knowing that you work for the good of all who believe in you, knowing that you are trustworthy, faithful, and good. It is in the name of Jesus the Christ that we pray. Amen. Thank you for practicing with me today.